Given some of my recent videos, you might assume that I like really mean strategies, and you would be right. So here are 5 combos to make your friends hate you. Most players like to use mana, so that means first up we have Urza, Lord High Artificer, and Winter Orb. Now what this does is this slows the game down for your opponents down to a glacial pace. Now you're going to leave Winter Orb untapped on each of your opponent's turns. This means that all your opponents can only untap one land during their untap steps. Whenever you get to the player before your turn, on their end step, you're going to tap Winter Orb using Urza for 1 blue mana. Now that Winter Orb is tapped, whenever it gets to your untap step, you can untap everything, including your lands. And you can just repeat this process for the duration of the game until someone either kills Urza or Winter Orb. But let's say it's turn 11 and everyone's boards are looking good, but you haven't done jack dilly with your board state. Well, this is how you reset the game. First, you're going to cast Cyclonic Rift for its overload cost. What this does is this returns all your opponent's non-land permanents to their hand. Then you're going to cast Armageddon. Now this destroys all lands. Now unfortunately that does include your own. However, we're working under the assumption that you didn't have anything to begin with. Now what this does is that even though your opponents do have the benefit of choosing their hands, they have basically no lands to work with, and this resets the game. Next up we have Marilyn of the Mornsong and Opposition Agent. Now I've talked about this one in a previous video, however this is a brief introduction into controlling your opponents, so we'll call it Stax 101. When both of these cards are on the battlefield, none of your opponents can draw cards, which is kind of important in a commander game. However, the best part about this is that if they were to draw a card, say on their draw step, you get to tutor for whatever you want in their deck, and then you get to cast that card using Opposition Agent. So effectively you go from playing with one deck that is randomized to playing with 4 decks, and you get to tutor every single time. So they better hope that they have a really good opening hand, because that's all they're getting. Now, while we're talking about controlling your opponents, it's about to get so much worse, because now we have Mindslaver and Academy Ruins, which is basically what I like to call Stax 201, controlling your opponent's turn. Now, just looking at Mindslaver is already bad enough. However, once you add Academy Ruins, basically you cannot get rid of Mindslaver, and you can control 1 opponent per round. Now this combo is for only 1 player per round. However, if you add card draw, a way to untap Academy Ruins, and mana, basically you can ruin your opponent's day by being the only one playing the game. Now I've thrown around the word stacks a lot, and the reason for that is because it comes from a card called Smokestacks. Now Smokestacks does not discriminate between different permanents, which means you have to sacrifice either lands, non-lands, or whatever. However, whenever you add targets to Smokestacks, basically you get everything that your opponents sacrifice due to Smokestacks' ability. And this essentially means that whoever controls Smokestacks controls the game, because here you have the option of either sacrificing your opponent's permanents that they gave you so that way you can just get rid of their stuff, or you can turn around and hit them with it. It's kind of your choice, but collectively I like the latter option. Now these are all terrible ideas that you should absolutely never do. However, if you do try any of these, do let me know down in the comments below how they worked out for you, including what your friends think of you afterwards. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll learn something new in the next video.